Welcome, everybody, to the Foster Show podcast.
All right, episode 4 of the Foster Show podcast. Today we're going to talk about some Star Wars news,
Whoa.
Rocky
Wow.
news, and some more weird news we found on the internet. All right, so Wyatt, you got any opening remarks for this week?
This week's show is brought to you by Toys R Us.
No, it's not. All right,
No,
Clayton,
it's
you got
not.
any opening remarks?
Yeah, we have a manager now.
It's not a manager.
But we have to act professional.
It's a wood manager.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think we're getting a step ahead to be more professional, as we are pretty famous right now. I hope you know our last episode actually got 16 views, and I think 16 is pretty close. I think if you round it up, 16 is close to 20. 20 is pretty close to 100. 100 is pretty close to 10,000. So I think you can say that we're pretty famous.
Yeah, and also it's called not a manager, it's producer. But you want to introduce our producer?
Yeah, say hello, our manager,
Producer.
womager.
Producer, nice.
Trinity Foster.
Hello.
All right, that's our producer. All right, so let's start off with some of the news. Clayton.
Ooh, wowza.
Oh my God. All right, let's go. Clayton, have you heard anything about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show?
I've heard a little bit. I saw actually who's playing in it.
I didn't ask you for a summary about it. I asked you,
Okay.
have you heard any news about it?
Yes, I have.
All right. So, we got the Obi-Wan from the prequels. He's going to be in it.
Wowza.
Is that your catchphrase of the episode?
Yeah.
All right. So, but Hayden Christensen has announced he was coming on.
Yeah, I saw that. It seems really cool because I actually think he was really good.
Tell the folks who Hayden Christensen is.
Hayden Christensen is Anakin Skywalker. Spoilers, Darth Vader.
What?
Wow. But I think he did really good.
Start reading.
And he did a little of voice acting in the Clone Wars. Not the entire show, but I think what he did was really good. And I think he's really good for his character.
Now let Wyatt tell the folks, the other cast members that are going to be on the show.
Yeah, I have no idea who they are. I just know.
Moses Ingram.
Oh.
Moses?
M-O-S-E.
From the Bible?
It's not Moses.
All right. Who else?
Joel Edgar.
So that guy, he was actually in episode 3. He's the uncle that takes in Luke.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's the same guy.
Oh, okay. Bonnie Pease.
I don't know who that is, so moving on.
Kamal Nanjiani.
Kamala Harris?
Thank you for that comment.
Next one, Indari Varma.
So she's actually in Game of Thrones. She's one of the princess of Dorne,
Rupert Friend.
known for his hit role in the Hitman movie,
Whoa.
which sucked.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
That's Ice Cube's son.
Is that really?
Yep, he played Ice Cube in the NWA movie.
Oh. Ice Cube's son played Ice
Thank
Cube.
you, Wyatt.
We're in the middle of a conversation.
You think I can control my sneezes, you dickhead?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Soong Kang, who was pretty sure he's in our.
Why are you
Movie of the week.
whispering?
Like, so this is what happened.
Okay, who is he from?
Soong Kang,
Like King Kong?
Simone Castle.
Any idea who these are?
No.
Oh.
Benny Safdie.
That's one of the Safdie brothers.
Oh.
He directed. Well, they did Uncut Gems.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and what's the one with Robert Pattinson?
Good times.
Good Times. Yeah, he's the brother.
The retard.
Oh, dude, they cannot hear you.
Wait, we have a mic.
I know. I said it like that because
Speak into the mic. Is this going to be a singer?
the retard brother.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it was that brother.
Mm.
Okay, so Clayton, how does that cast feel to you?
Really, I only know Hayden Christian and I don't know his name. Okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah,
You want to read
dude,
it?
I know his name, but Ewan McGregor.
Elon?
Elon.
Elon? Oh my god.
Yeah, but that's only the two. I don't know why I didn't know his name, but those are pretty much the only two I know, and then the rest I don't care.
All right.
But it sounds good.
Once Wyatt comes back over here, we'll get his thoughts. So, I mean, it looks like it's a pretty nice cast.
Yeah.
Just Hayden Christensen being back at him it makes me want to watch it.
Yeah, I can agree.
Thank you for agreeing. Okay, Wyatt, what did you think of the cast?
I agree with the statement that seeing Ewan McGregor. Now you got him saying it. It makes me say it like that.
Do
Makes
you
me
want to
wanna
see his
watch it.
name again?
Aaron.
I'm not saying it again.
Oh my god.
But also the fact that Hayden Christensen came back in this movie, which I
Yeah, I thought he was done.
I guess he's not done.
Yeah, wowza.
kind of cool.
I liked it in the other episodes when you didn't have a catchphrase.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're taking away your wowzas.
No, not my wowzas.
All right, moving on to the.
Didn't even get to
So-
talk about it. Just
Okay,
wowzas.
let's go. I'm tired of hearing wowzers, so let's go to our newly acquired segment, Weird News. It changed from local news to just weird news in general. So,
Wacky news.
yeah, wacky news.
It's wacky news.
All right, that's the name from now on. Thank you, Wyatt.
Kind of like me.
Okay, shut up.
You are fired. Okay, so here's the news. Clayton, pay attention.
Okay.
An Australian school, Trinity College, banned school students from rocking mullets because they're unacceptable.
How dare
What?
they? Mullets are like a cultural thing, honestly. That's
Rocking
deeply
mullets?
ingrained in our society.
From having mullets
What?
because they're unacceptable.
How unacceptable? Are they just too sick?
Are they just too epic?
Clayton, you know what a mullet is?
Yes.
You've got a mullet.
Describe a mullet to me.
No, I do not have a mullet.
Okay, well, describe to me what a mullet is.
A mullet is where you have base. It's really ugly. It's basically kind of like a bowl.
No,
Then what is that?
it's a bowl cut.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay, I have two. No, it's not the bowl cut. So basically a mullet. I don't know. It's really weird.
Okay,
So
this is what a mullet is.
it's like a long hair,
Ready?
and
No,
it's
no,
like.
no. Just stop talking.
Oh.
You've gone over your 150 words quota for the day. Okay, so a mullet is business in the front, party in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
That's what
Trinity.
I'm trying to say.
Imagine Trinity
So they,
But uglier.
like that.
Yeah.
Where she has like all the hairs in the back.
I think the
Yeah, I
audience
know.
would really appreciate you pointing out someone.
I was just pointing out to the kiddo here.
No, I understand what
Who's
a
our-
mullet is. Like literally everyone has them in my school.
Okay, next.
Wyatt, what did
wacky
you think?
news.
Oh my god, you guys are such jerks.
Kaiden, you're over your quota. See, our producer's pointing at you to shut up. So Wyatt, what does that make you feel like? A fan of a mullet?
Oh, I live and die by the mullet. Fans, you don't know, but I have a mullet in real life. I'm all business in the front,
And extra party in
an
the
extra
back.
party in the back. I
He
got
ties them all together.
it's all
like a-
it's like
like a
cornrows and
It's
stuff.
almost like a rat tail.
Can I just fire myself?
Don't
Okay.
worry, we'll fire you for you.
That's what you've been saying this entire time. It's yet to happen. Do it already.
That really brought a lot to our mullet
Oh
conversation.
my
Kind of threw it off the
god.
rails, ruined it. We actually had something to talk about. You know what, Taryn? Can you go to the next wacky news?
We only have one wacky news.
That was the only wacky
Yeah.
news.
Well, I don't know. I thought you guys would bring more to the table besides Clayton describing
Clayton ruined
a bowl
the
No, I
cut,
did
a
not.
bowl cut, and then derailing our conversation.
Doesn't the one brother from Stranger Things, the bad one, have a
Yes.
Does have one, yeah.
That's what I've been telling you guys.
Except
No,
you
you
decided
did not.
to describe it as a bowl cut, and now you just put
That's
your
the
hand in
other
ranch.
brother.
Good job.
And you didn't even say anything about Stranger Things.
I didn't, but he has one, and I brought
Okay.
up.
Okay, we're moving on. We're
Literally
moving on. We're
everyone-
moving on. The subject is dropped. Okay.
Just like you as
Next.
a kid.
Thing on the agenda. The classic Wyatt's Corner.
Wyatt's Corner!
All right, Wyatt, what's in the corner today?
In the corner is Monster Hunter Rise, the brand new video game on Switch, and the continuation of the Monster Hunter series.
You're not a fan? Why are you so deadpan?
Because I'm just a dead guy, you know? Just keeping it real with our today's subject.
Okay. All right, then.
So, Monster Hunter, it's a Monster Hunter game. You spend 50 minutes, you fight a single monster, you kill the monster, and if you suck like Tanner, you lose to the monster.
Yeah.
That's about it. The game is primarily divided into two separate parts. It has a main storyline. You have the online, and you have your single player. Single player is just like every other Monster Hunter game. You go fight the monster, and then they give like some story exposition between, then you fight the big monster of the game, and then the game resets, and then you fight more monsters.
So do you prefer single player or multiplayer?
What I do have to say is that when on the previous Monster Hunter World
Uh-huh.
game, I did like the multiplayer just because it's fun to mess around. But in this one, you have these pets with you called like Palamutes, like they're just dogs. But when you're fighting a smaller monster, and every one of you has this dog, and then you're fighting it,
And you have a cat, right?
not when you're playing online,
Oh, no cat.
only
What?
dog.
That's
When you're playing by yourself,
cool.
you get the cat and the
wait.
dog.
That's not so important.
Okay.
But if you're like fighting a smaller monster, there's so much stuff going on that you literally have no clue what's going on, and it's just too much. So I can't play the game online when there's only like this little tiny thing. Okay.
Gotcha. All right. So, is anything else you want to say in Wyatt's Corner?
The game is okay. It's cool monsters. It's a fun
Do
game.
you recommend Wyatt's Corner? Or not
Wyatt's
Wyatt's
Corner?
Corner?
I do not recommend
yeah.
Wyatt's Corner. It's not. It's not a fun place to be.
Not a safe corner.
It's a scary place.
Yeah,
Clayton's Corner would know.
What?
Would you recommend the game then?
I would have issues recommending to anyone who, like, I know there's plenty of people who would have issues fighting one monster for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Like, that's the core issue I've heard about lots of games. This game, the fights tend to be a lot shorter than that. They usually ride into 10 to 15 minutes. But I would not suggest it, like, sort of people who would not want to have that experience. It just kind of kills it off completely. Especially for $60.
Yeah.
Is that what you were doing the entire time?
I just got farted on.
Sicko.
Oh my god, you guys!
I just got farted.
Hope you like the guy. He took off his pants and farted in Clayton's face.
Uh-oh. That was just me. What was the point of that?
No.
Well, fuck you.
Ow. All right, ready?
How I proceed today is bullying.
All right. Ready?
Oh, come
Ready, Wyatt?
on.
Ready,
I
Wyatt?
don't remember what I was talking about.
We'll just end Wyatt's Corner.
Well, end White's Corner with Tanner farting.
Okay.
that in.
This episode's bad.
It sounds really bad over here.
Great work, Tanner. You got really keeping it together this episode.
All right. So let's move on from Wyatt's Corner. Do your theme song.
No, you ruined it.
Oh my god. Do your theme song. We gotta keep consistency. Alright, ready? Alright, moving on from Wyatt's Corner. What?
Holy.
Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, moving on from Wyatt's Corner.
Wyatt's Corner.
All right, so next news we have the Rocky movie series will be doing a prequel TV show.
Whoa!
Wyatt, your face does not seem too thrilled about that. Elaborate.
Just why do they keep doing all this stuff to the Rocky series? Like, there's just so many Rocky movies. Why?
Money, baby.
But is it really that incentivizing?
I don't know. Creed makes a lot of money, so I'm assuming they think
it has to be if they made the 2 Creed movies.
so.
I
They're
guess.
just going right off prequel show.
Anyway.
It does not say that Sylvester Stallone has yet to have any thoughts into it. I mean, not thoughts, work into it, if he's going to be a producer or anything. So, but it's going to be all the characters when they're young, which I don't know why we really need that, especially because he wasn't too old in the first Rocky movie.
Yeah.
I think he was only in his mid-20s, if anything. Mid to late 20s, so I don't know how much more
Halloween.
info we need about his youth.
It could be kind of like
His coach.
Cobra Kai, where they're all kids.
I just said it as a
The
prequel.
prequel, you dummy. You stupid idiot.
I know, but that's. Oh my god, I hate
Cobra
you
Kai
guys.
is not a prequel.
No,
Cobra
but
Kai.
in Cobra Kai, they're all kids.
What the hell are you?
They're training besides the main character.
But not
He's-
the main characters from Karate Kid.
I'm not talking about it, but they're teaching a whole bunch of like.
This is why
students.
this podcast sucks.
This is why.
This and many reasons. No. Do you know what a prequel is?
Yes, I know what a
Okay,
prequel is.
what is it?
It's before the actual things happened.
Okay, then why do you keep bringing up Cobra Kai that
Because-
has nothing to do with that?
That's a sequel.
I'm not talking about the main. Okay, so you know how in Cobra Kai
Yeah.
they're teaching all the students
Yeah.
that are supposed to be the next thing. That's what I'm saying. Maybe that
They're gonna be a training series.
Like how Rocky and every Rocky movie has a training series.
Yeah, just like how every other movie has a training series. Do you catch this?
No,
Oh
I don't
my
think
God.
anyone does. It doesn't make any sense. You're talking about Cobra Kai, a sequel show, when we're talking about Rocky, the prequel series.
Yes, I know.
So I don't understand. your
Because they're
point.
teaching. Never mind.
Next subject.
Oh my god. So we did both of yours. All right, so we're gonna do the Clayton hit us with the movie of the week theme song.
Dun, 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 dun.
Thanks for copying my style.
Thanks. Now we had to copyright our own music from our own segments.
Idiot.
Ow!
All right, for the movie of the week, we actually did something a little different. So we did a Chris Farley documentary.
I heard it. Stop throwing stuff at me.
Yeah. So we're gonna. The reason I picked it was because I wanted Clayton to kind of see more of older comedies. So, all right, let's move on to the movie of the week. Clayton, hit us with our theme song.
Bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da, dee, dun, 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 dun. Ba-da, ba-da, dum, bum, bum, bum.
Movie of the week.
Movie.
All right. So this week we did a documentary about Chris Farley called Anything for Laughs. Came out in 2019, and it was a Showtime special. So they did like a couple of biographies about different comedians and entertainers. So this was just like Chris Farley one. So I picked this one this week because I wanted Clayton, and I didn't know how much of Chris Farley Wyatt knew about him. Because Clayton had no experience of him. And then Wyatt, did you really have any?
None besides watching the SNL skits a couple years back.
So that was the main reason I wanted to pick him. And plus, I really enjoy that early cast of SNL. So I watched just a lot of videos about them and their skits. So I just found the documentary and I thought it was really interesting. So prior to watching the documentary, I had Clayton and Wyatt watch some of his biggest skits on SNL, like the Man Down by the River. Clayton, what do you think about that one?
I think it was pretty good. It was just, a little loud. And I just think it's not really comedy isn't really liked anymore, but I think it's really good.
Yeah, Wyatt?
I like the part where I just like the parts where he just gets up in the face of the other actors like David Spade and starts screaming in their face about how they're gonna end up like him and live down by the river if they don't go to college. And if they continue smoking pot and Wheaties all the
The
time.
Doobies.
The doobies.
And then we watched the one where they're in the cafeteria. So it's him, David Spade, and Adam Sandler when they're all high school girls and they're eating French fries. And Chris Farley is just eating all their French fries and they're getting upset about it.
They're just Gap girls, you know.
Yep, they're Gap girls, is why I put it. So, Clay, what do you think about that one?
I actually really like that one. I think that was probably the best one.
You can relate to Chris Farley in that one.
I think it was funny. I thought it was just a good video. Nothing bad about it.
And then probably his most famous one is the Chippendale one with Patrick Swayze. What do you think about that one, boys?
Schweister.
That's what you think about it?
I
That's what I
think
call him.
Oh,
Weekends.
well,
I think it was really funny actually, because it showed you like he was actually really active.
yeah, he's definitely a good dancer.
He's got them schmoos, you
My
know.
favorite part was when he took his shirt and rubbed it between his butt.
You said
Patrick
that?
Swayze or Chris Farley?
You said that a little weird. All right. So in the documentary, what was the biggest impact it left on you?
Probably the fact that he did all that drugs and everything while he was really good at comedy. He had all that bad things in his life.
All his personal issues.
Yeah.
What about you, Wyatt?
Um, what I really saw out of it was how he couldn't really handle the fame because he was such like an emotional guy, and how like when he hopped from a SNL to being like a movie actor, he just like would sign up on anything he didn't know, and that kind of just drove him more and more into the pit. Even though like he wanted to be a good actor and he really wanted to like, stay sober and everything, it just
He hoped that everything he was offered was a big hit.
no.
Yeah, I don't even know if I necessarily even agree with you, Wyatt, because I think he wanted the only movie that seemed like he didn't really like doing was the one with Matthew Perry.
Well, not that he didn't enjoy doing them. It was just that
He wasn't just accepting it. He thought these movies on paper were going to be a lot better. I think he seemed like it felt like it was attacking him when the movie was panned for being bad.
Hmm.
When he was trying to make it as perfect as possible. And
Yeah.
he was such a sensitive guy that when they were just saying the movie sucked, it was like they're telling him he sucks.
I was just kind of going for that. It was like a vehicle which caused him to go even worse than it
Oh,
was
definitely,
before.
yeah. I think it was just so surprising how many modern day comedians he really has impacted.
Mhm.
Like it had one of the guys I listen to a lot on the podcast is Theo Vaughn, and he has a big mural of Chris Farley.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
so just a lot of just modern comedians love Chris Farley because they're the generation that grew up watching him
him.
all the time. So it's just really sad to know that someone that has such a big impact like that had such little self esteem about himself.
Yeah, and another thing I'd say that he didn't do so good with was that, I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I don't think him being the big joke about him being fat would be too good for like to continuous, you know?
Well, SNL always has had kind of a fat person on the show, but like Chris Farley isn't even that fat.
No, not at
He's
all.
more. I mean, he's a bigger guy, and until when he goes to host a show, then he is really big. I think they said he was like
350.
350. But when he's on the show, and even in Tommy Boy, he's not that big.
Probably like I don't know how tall he is, but for his height, he's probably like 250.
I don't know. I'm not an expert on the.
I am.
But
Trust
wasn't
me.
his
250, 275 is what I give his
wasn't
weight.
his dad like 700?
Yeah, his dad was a really big guy.
I mean, I'm sure like that kind of had to like affect him, you know?
I mean, obviously it did, or else they wouldn't have made this documentary. So, why was your favorite part about it? Actually, let's start doing that.
My favorite part of the
Yeah.
documentary.
Just not necessarily your favorite part that you like compared to a normal movie that you really enjoy. Just either favorite part like that you learned a lot from, or just hit you the most.
I like the parts where they showed his improv while he's going in working at the Second City, I think it was called.
Yeah, because he was in Second City, Chicago. That's where he came up from before moving on to SNL.
And it showed like the skits and stuff they would work on, and how a lot of them that he worked on would end up becoming SNL skits. Like the Man Down by River was
Yeah,
originally
the
an improv.
Maxwell Foley, which they said was actually inspired by his dad. So
Yeah,
that was pretty cool to know. And then Clay, what about you?
I think he did really good when he
What was your favorite part? Not what he did.
not your favorite part of his life.
oh my favorite part would have to be when White said this, where it's not really one singular part, but it's just what one of his actions is just getting right in your face and yelling.
That was your favorite part about the documentary.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the guy. My bad.
Again, we said that twice, but go
I
ahead.
know, I'm sorry.
Okay, what's your favorite part of the documentary, Clay?
My favorite part of the documentary is really when they go back to his old house and they talk about how when
His college house?
his college house, I think it is, and
Yeah, it's his college
when
store.
they're writing the first comedy skit, he pulled out vodka from his drawers, would it be, and
His dresser, yes.
dresser, and I just didn't do it, and I just
And he had-
What
drank.
do you want to explain so people know what happened?
And why it was funny?
Oh, why did you like it? Like,
I
explain the
think
story.
I think it was a little funny because basically when they were writing down a comedy skit, he says, "Here, have a drink. Let's have a drink." I think what he said, and he opens his dresser, and he takes two bottles and he fills it up with vodka, and I just think that's a little funny because it's a little random, and it actually kind of shows his problems that he had just having that around.
Yeah, but also he's a college student at the time.
He
But
was
also, you
even
kind of
college
missed the
student.
best part of the story when
They
So-
couldn't make a joke, and so they just wrote down
Yeah.
airplane food, and he pulls.
so his college dorm roommate is actually the guy that does the Toyota commercials. So that was one of the cool things about this whole documentary is how just many
People he affected throughout his life.
people he affected throughout his life, but also the people that ended up becoming big celebrities.
Yeah,
From even his brothers, like his brothers aren't the hugest celebrities, but Kevin Farley does a lot of stuff, and then Larry Farley is also a character actor. So coming up from a big family, and then going to college where his dorm roommate, he's a commercial actor, but still an actor. And then he goes to Second City, and there's Bill Murray's brother. Tim Meadows is part of it. He goes to SNL. Adam Sandler. It's just all these things he's hitting. Has all these other incredible talents with him along the way, and he seems to be the one shining throughout all of it. But in the story that Clayton's talking about, that he's not told very
he
well.
botched.
So when he pulls out the drinks after just writing one, after trying to write a comedy skit, they literally write one sentence about airplane food. They go to get drinks, and it's in his dresser, and in the bottom drawer of the dresser is just ice with no liner or anything. It's just ice in a drawer. So I think that's what Clayton was trying
I
to say.
think that's
was
what I
his
was getting
favorite
at
part.
as well.
Yeah.
And then they went out, got drunk, woke up the next morning, and all they had was the word airplane food on a piece of paper.
Did this documentary make you feel a different way about Chris Farley? Make you appreciate him more, or just what do you feel about
It
it?
made me understand more of like what the like a celebrity's life, a person who just if they're not prepared for it or like has the correct mindset goes into it, how like it could ultimately affect them. Because I already knew prehand what happened to him and about like
Mhm.
what happened throughout his career, but just like seeing it through the people who were his friends and his like basically his family as well, showed it what he was going through, how he was like an emotional guy and how that affected him and how that like just made him get worse and worse and worse. Kind of brought a new light onto it for me.
All right, Clayton, what about you? As someone that didn't even really know who he was prior.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely agree with Wyatt, and really, that's exactly what I think. Is that truly he was unprepared,
Unprepared for what?
unprepared for getting on this huge fame. Because if I don't know her name, she was the director for the first stadium.
The Second City?
Second City, yeah.
Yeah, so it was the co-founder of the Second City, who ended up being the manager of the store while he was there.
Yeah, yeah, my fault. I didn't know her name. But she says that he was super ready to go out there.
Yeah.
But I think that was really good for him, but I don't think he was really mentally prepared
Well, I
to go
think
on this big
I think he was
Right.
prepared to do it, but he just couldn't handle it.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. I don't think he could handle it in the regards of the fame part of people talking to him and being famous. What he couldn't
Yeah.
handle was
The negative
the
flashback.
negative effects of like how like we were talking about with the movies, how when they would say, "Oh, this movie sucks," that the thing he couldn't handle was that he was thinking you're telling me I suck.
That's why I said mental.
Well,
Mentally
mental is
unprepared.
everything. Like his, he could mentally, he was
Big,
fine
so,
with
yeah.
being famous. He was just not fine with
The cons
the cons of being
and
famous.
the negatives and what people actually have to say. And I think, yeah, that's completely true.
Okay.
So the only thing, I mean, there was a lot of it to take away from, but the biggest thing for me was just again like all the famous people that directly he impacted. Because I've seen stuff before where Adam Sandler and David Spade and Norm Macdonald, people like that, or just like these titans of the industry, always bring him up because it was such a big loss for him. Like for them losing him. So seeing all these other people that you had no idea that, like Bill Murray's brother, Toyota guy, all these guys that you didn't know really had a connection with him, still like had a heavy hand and heart when they lost him. And then just when you think of someone like ODing, you think of, especially in the limelight, someone having like something horrible happen to them, and that's why they go to drugs. But for him, it was like there's not one thing that directly seems like was the reason he started doing it. Just besides the fact he was just an emotional guy, and this was hard for him to get all this criticism all the time.
I think it's kind of crazy, and this is kind of off topic, but I think it's kind of crazy that all these people have like perfect lives, not perfect, have good
Perfect
lives.
from the outside looking.
Perfect from the outside looking, yeah. And, just like some things can really get them on drugs. And I think that it's kind of weird how it kind of makes you feel better when it really isn't.
Wait, what? Can you explain that?
Like, people taking drugs because it makes them feel better when it really isn't good for you.
Yeah. Well, those are drugs for you. They're so good it'll ruin your life. Now, Wyatt, have you seen anything with John Belushi before?
No, I have not.
Well, then go ahead and cut this part out. 'Cause,
Unless we did. Name some movies. I guess.
well, he was in Blues Brothers and Animal House and
Oh,
early
no.
SNL. But
It's kind of one of those situations I feel like with the guy though, but like people always think, oh, if you have money, you're always like on top of the world. You have no like problems at all.
Yeah.
It's the like perfect story of money doesn't.
but
Money solves everything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're always happy when you have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
And not to mention that girl that he was friends with that was also an alcoholic. She basically just said like sometimes even if he was super happy, at the end of the day, like he
yeah,
was
being
an
a
alcoholic.
celebrity, people are gonna
Expect you to have it
offer
all.
you
Offer
stuff
things,
or
yep.
just give you stuff because they like you and they want to give you something.
And they think that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be really hard in that situation.
And if you have an addictive personality, it's just easy to pick
Because
up.
he was an alcoholic from the beginning, so he was able to stop from that. But with drugs, which is gonna be even worse, I can see that being extremely difficult, more difficult than normal people.
All right, so what would you rate it? Let's do out of 10. Well, no, because it's documentary. Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it. I find it hard to rate documentaries. So, yeah, I would just recommend it. It's an interesting watch. I like an eye at the...
Would you recommend it to someone that doesn't even really like entertainers?
I don't know. I think it's just like an interesting watch. If you don't really care much for anything with like comedy or actors, you really wouldn't care about these people talk. You just kind of feel like you're talking about a guy. So I don't know if it would be worth watching it. But if you already know, like you are know about some comedy scene, it would be interesting. Or seen some of the movies is in, I would recommend it. If not, then I guess there's not really much of a point.
Clayton, what would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think I would to people. Of course, not everyone, but people who like murder or anything like that.
What?
Just would you
Go ahead.
recommend it?
Yes, I think it would be very good for people who like tragedy documentaries, anything like that. I think this would be really good for those type of people who like that.
And I'm in the same boat, not necessarily about the tragedy or
The pessimistic outlook.
I just think it was just a really well put together documentary. It's an interesting look from his family and close friends. So I would definitely recommend it. All right. So that's going to be it. Closing segment or closing points. Why? You got anything else you want to say?
Uh, no, I wasn't prepared for a closing segment.
All right.
Wait, don't pause it. Clayton, do you have anything?
Nothing really.
Okay. So, just like last week, you can. Clayton's gonna leave our email in the description.
Inside the description.
Hopefully, he will have this episode out. So if you leave us an email, we can actually look at it.
Huh.
All right.
All
So,
right.
all right. Thanks for listening.
Have a good day.
Yahoo!
Yo.